"We're moving in a different direction, Andrew. You're not part of it." That was it. No warning, no performance review, no closed-door meeting. Just a 6-second execution, delivered on a company-wide Zoom call 5 minutes before lunch. Sierra smiled the whole time. I kept my face still. He called it streamlining leadership, said I didn't reflect where the company was headed. Then he announced her promotion, right after mine was buried. Our new director of strategic partnerships, Sierra Dalton. Applause from 4 tiles. Half-hearted. HR clapped hardest. Someone dropped a reaction emoji by accident. Confetti burst across her camera. I stared at the corner of my monitor and didn't blink. "Andrew, thank you for your service. HR will be in touch by end of day." I nodded once, muted, camera on, no exit line. Then I clicked Leave Meeting. By 1:10 p.m., the company Slack workspace had locked me out. My access badge deactivated at 1:42. The hallway lights flickered as I passed the glass conference room, the one I'd practically lived in last quarter. Sierra sat inside now, next to the CEO, laughing about something I built. His hand rested on the back of her chair like it had always belonged there. She didn't see me walk past. Or maybe she did. She didn't look away. I packed in silence. My side of the office was already gray again. No one made eye contact. Even my coffee cup looked like it wanted to be anywhere else. When I stood to leave, she appeared. "Rough day," Sierra said. Fake sympathy dipped in perfume. She looked proud, like she'd killed something and finally made room. "Hope there's no hard feelings," she added, smiling just a little too long. I said nothing, not because I didn't have words, but because I knew none of them mattered, not to her. Security held the door as I walked out. No box, just a manila folder with my severance paperwork, a USB drive I didn't plug in, and the same shoulder pain I'd had since 2021. The November wind caught me in the teeth. I let it. Cold makes you feel something. I sat in the car for a long time before starting the engine. The office tower looked sterile through the windshield. 14 years in that building. 14. Built every process, managed every transition, watched 5 rebrands fail, and patched every hole without credit. They didn't just erase me. They upgraded me into someone else's story. Someone who knew the CEO's favorite scotch. Someone who wore thigh-high boots to Q4 retreats. Someone who giggled during audits and misquoted data like it was cute. Someone who stepped out of his hotel room at 11:42 p.m. in Austin, lipstick smudged, hair wet, when she didn't know I was across the hall, 3 doors down, trying to rewrite her deck so we wouldn't lose a client. I drove home with the radio off. My apartment felt like a soundstage. I didn't take my coat off. I sat on the couch and stared at the floor. Then I opened LinkedIn. Her promotion was already posted. Polished. Perfect. 3 hashtags. 1 photo. Her at the gala, beside the CEO, cropped to look accidental. At 11:47 p.m., I opened my personal email. It was buried in the archive, from 2 years ago. Subject: "That bar was freezing, thank you. Catherine Myers," the CEO's wife. I remembered the night, holiday gala. He'd left early with the team. Catherine was alone, cold, waiting for a car that never came. I gave her my coat and offered to call her a ride. She wrote the next day, "Not many good men in that place. You're one of the few. Please don't lose that." I hadn't replied. Didn't want to cross a line. Now I clicked reply. Then I clicked forward. Then I clicked create new account. Name: Catherine Myers. Email: k.myers@charity@gmail.com. Next. I opened the internal HR escalation policy, the one no one ever reads until it's too late. My cursor hovered over the anonymous submission portal. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel anything, which meant it was the perfect time to start. The first time I met Sierra, she was wearing a broken visitor badge and asking where the espresso pods were stored. That was 4 years ago. She was an unpaid marketing intern then, fresh out of a communications program with more buzzwords than tools, always smiling like the world was a game she already knew how to win. I was the one who fixed her badge, got her credentials sorted, showed her where the server folder was buried 3 layers down. She called me sir at first. That didn't last. In my 13th year with Brand Summit, I'd outlived 3 CEOs, 5 product heads, 2 lawsuits, and 1 whistleblower scandal that ended with a VP resigning mid-cruise. I'd built our brand architecture from scratch, not just the public-facing mess, but the internal machine no one wanted to understand. I stayed late. I fixed other people's work. I kept my mouth shut when clients crossed the line. I ran our Latin American expansion out of a Denver co-working space with a $600 Wi-Fi budget. I'd missed my sister's wedding that year, my dad's stroke the year after. But every time I turned something around, I got the same 2 words: appreciate it. Sierra rose fast. Too fast. She went from intern to assistant manager in 6 months, skipped a full rung to become campaign director less than a year later. No one said anything, but everyone watched. You could feel it in how people hesitated before replying to her emails. Too formal, too careful. She talked like a promo reel. Client-centric activation. Agile authenticity pivot. Once, she presented a budget strategy I had built from scratch, down to the cell formatting. She just removed my name and called it team collaboration. I said nothing. I assumed it was a one-off. A mistake. It wasn't. Things shifted about a year ago. The CEO, Richard Myers, started scheduling creative alignment sessions that ran past 9 p.m. She stopped sending call invites, started locking the campaign folders, password protecting things she didn't understand. She started wearing lipstick on Mondays. He started calling her S. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Office politics, paranoia. But then I saw them at the Phoenix conference, standing a little too close at the hotel bar, her hand on his wrist, no eye contact with anyone else. He disappeared for the keynote, said it was a migraine. She was gone too. When we got back, she made strategic changes to the quarterly roadmap without review. My name was left off the credits for the Norway brand onboarding. I had flown there myself. No one else made the trip. When I asked her about it, she smiled and said, "Some shifts are necessary for growth." I tried to talk to legal once. Casual, off the record, just to ask, what's the protocol when upper leadership promotes someone they're involved with? The compliance manager didn't blink, just sipped her drink and said, "Are you sure you want to find out?" I never brought it up again. One night, mid-August, Sierra called me at 11:12 p.m. Client panic, she said, needed help reworking the Tyson Foods deck before morning. I worked on it until 3 a.m., cleaned up her slides, restructured the strategy narrative, fixed the budget estimates. It wasn't the first time I'd done it. She thanked me with a one-line Slack the next day. "Appreciate you, old man." No smiley. Just that. A week later, she was flown solo to Boston to represent executive strategy in front of the board. I watched from the live stream. She used my slides. The only time my name was mentioned was when she said, "Andrew's guidance has been foundational to my learning," like I was a dead mentor, someone to thank and bury. The most obvious moment was Austin, company retreat. Everyone got drunk except me. At 11:42 p.m., I walked down the hallway to grab a water bottle from the vending machine. Her hotel door opened. She stepped out, hair wet, eyes glazed, wearing a hotel robe. Richard was behind her, shirtless, saying something I couldn't hear. She didn't see me, or maybe she did. Her eyes flicked up for a second, and then past me. By the third quarter, the leadership restructure rumors started. She was an emerging voice in organizational realignment. Her face appeared on the new site layout, next to a quote she didn't write. Then came the firing. 12 years of work erased on a Zoom call. Smiles, applause, muted mic. Legacy role. I went back once, after hours, used my badge before it was fully deactivated. I sat in the dark, just for a minute, looking at the chair I used to sit in, the campaign board still pinned with sticky notes I'd written. I left a pen behind, the one with the dented clip I always carried. She used to borrow it, said it wrote smooth. It does. I didn't tell anyone what I saw, not my sister. Not the one friend I had left on staff, but I kept notes, screenshots, call logs, travel overlaps, folder changes, Slack timestamps, photos, the kinds of things you collect out of instinct, not spite, not for revenge, for clarity. And the email, from his wife. That stayed archived until now. The wife he took to Paris while Sierra pitched the Dublin merger on his behalf. The same merger I coordinated from a hotel bathroom with food poisoning because they forgot to book me a room with Wi-Fi. Catherine Myers, the kind of woman who knew exactly who her husband was, and exactly who I wasn't, until now. I opened a blank document, typed the first 3 words, then deleted them, then typed them again. I wasn't planning revenge, just a correction. A small one, a clean one. The Monday after I was fired, I woke up at 6:32 out of habit. No alarm, no calls, no inbox waiting, just silence and the sharp awareness that I had nowhere to be. I didn't shower, didn't shave. I sat at the kitchen table and stared at the coffee pot as it filled. The drip reminded me of the office HVAC, low, rhythmic, inescapable. I drank it black and cold. Then I opened my laptop. I started by searching Sierra's name on LinkedIn. She'd updated her banner photo to a shot from the Boston boardroom standing beside Richard with a caption, "A privilege to lead from the front. Honored to take this next step." 97 likes, 33 comments. 1 from the wife. "So proud of you, Sierra." A force. That told me everything I needed to know. I opened Slack next. I was already locked out of the company's system, but I had synced archives on a backup device, a habit I developed years ago after we lost 6 months of correspondence during a failed cloud migration. Legal had approved personal syncing for continuity assurance. No one ever retracted it. I searched one word, hotel, then after hours. Then Austin. Messages lit up like landmines. RM wants me to do the presentation. Still smells like bourbon Lowell. Gonna run upstairs before dinner. You down? So bring the jacket. You left it in my room again. Timestamps matched retreat nights. I took screenshots, cropped names, saved them in a folder labeled Q4 backlog drafts. Then I searched expense reports, found overlapping receipts. One from Richard, billed to executive incidentals. One from Sierra, 2 minutes later, labeled client hospitality. Same room, same night, same minibar charge. I didn't react, just filed it. By noon, I was back in my archived email. Catherine Myers' message sat there, untouched. Not many good men in that place. You're one of the few. It was the only thread from her personal Gmail, not her husband's domain, not the public-facing charity one. It was the same one she used for the cancer research fund she chaired, and the same one I'd seen on her business card at the holiday gala. That was the angle. I created a new Google account. Name, Catherine Myers. Username, k.myers.foundation. I didn't touch her name, her formatting, her signature. Just kept it clean. Then I drafted the message. to hr@brandsummitintel.com. Subject, ethical concern. Request for immediate attention. I've recently been made aware of improprieties regarding the relationship between CEO Richard Myers and a subordinate employee, Sierra Dalton. These improprieties have involved misuse of company funds, concealed promotions, travel expenses tied to personal meetings, and potential violations of power dynamic ethics. I'm submitting this with great hesitation, but I believe the company's legal and compliance departments should investigate the matter discreetly and swiftly. If this remains unresolved, I will have to consider my obligations as a shareholder and public board liaison for the foundation arm. Catherine. I saved it as a draft. I stared at it for 17 minutes. Then I hit send. The next day, I received a response, not to my real inbox, to Catherine's, from HR. Dear Mrs. Myers, thank you for your message. We take such matters very seriously. Our general counsel has been notified, and we are initiating an internal review. May we schedule a confidential follow-up call at your earliest convenience? I marked the email as unread and logged out. I wasn't going to speak. They didn't need my voice. They just needed her shadow. Then I prepared the second move. I printed the Slack messages, the expense overlaps, the private trip photos I'd found online. Sierra had posted one by mistake in March. A beach sunset in a robe. The same hotel as Richard's executive strategy retreat. Different angles, same horizon. I mailed a manila envelope to the chairman of the board. No return address, no note, just the evidence. 2 days later, Sierra posted a photo on Instagram, her and Richard in a glass elevator captioned, "Visionaries rise together." The image went dark less than 24 hours later, deleted, but not before I screenshotted it. By the end of the week, I saw it. The first hairline fracture. Catherine had gone silent. No likes, no comments, no birthday reposts, nothing. Her charity foundation website was updated. Richard's name was removed from the leadership sponsors list. Then her profile photo was changed. A new image? No wedding ring. I wasn't done yet. I opened an encrypted server and uploaded the documents, all of them, with passworded access and a hidden metadata trail. I named the file, /1/clean-exit/, then I shared the link with one address. Not a journalist, not a lawyer, not HR, but a former intern. The one who once whispered, "They've always protected her." She didn't reply. She didn't need to. The next morning, a financial newsletter ran a one-line subheading buried in the middle of a longer article. Unnamed internal investigation launched at Brand Summit International. Sources report possible misuse of executive expense accounts. Small print. No names. But it was enough. I sat by the window with a black coffee and watched it all begin. Not fire, not smoke, not yet, just heat and silence. The good kind. The first report dropped Thursday morning. Not public, internal, board distribution only, 5 pages, 4 redactions. The header was plain, internal ethics review, preliminary findings. I wasn't supposed to see it, but my source forwarded it anyway. No subject, just the file. The summary listed 4 items. Improper use of executive travel funds, unapproved expense merges across 2 departments, undisclosed conflict of interest, employee relationship requiring escalation, no names, no direct accusations. But I saw it in the phrasing. Patterns of reimbursement indicating overlap. Promotion timeline coinciding with flagged engagement. It was her and him, no question. That same afternoon, Catherine went live, not on social media, not through her husband, through her foundation's website, a press release. In the spirit of transparency and with full commitment to ethical leadership, Catherine Myers will be temporarily stepping down from all corporate-adjacent partnerships as she conducts a private review of affiliations that may compromise her values. No mention of Brand Summit, but everyone knew. The company's Slack lit up by 4 p.m. My contact there, a junior analyst named Alicia, sent me a screenshot of the internal chatter. Did something happen with RM plus SD? Legal's in full lockdown. Why is Catherine pulling out of the gala? HR told everyone to shut down side chats. I didn't reply. By Friday, the board called a closed-door meeting. Richard left early. His assistant told people it was family-related. He didn't come in Monday. On Tuesday, Elisha forwarded an all-staff email marked urgent. Effective immediately, the company is undergoing a third-party compliance audit led by external counsel. This review pertains to executive conduct and operational oversight. All inquiries are to be directed to legal. Sierra still came in. She looked thinner, pulled together, but different. Hair down instead of pinned. No heels. Eyes scanning every hallway. She didn't post for 5 days. That was a record. I mailed the second package to the PR crisis firm on retainer. Same contents, different format, edited for their eyes. Plain language, timeline, scans, Slack messages, no threats, no signature, no return address. They would know who it came from and who it was about. That night, the charity gala was pulled from the calendar. The webpage redirected to a donation placeholder. No press release. Just gone. Richard's name disappeared from the sponsor list. By Thursday, a marketing intern whispered to Elisha, "They're pulling SD from the Q1 deck." Then, RM canceled all interviews. Then, something happened. Her badge doesn't work anymore. I opened the company's investor portal. The executive leadership page was under maintenance. The cache version still showed their photos, Richard and Sierra, side by side. I screenshotted it. Then I emailed it to the board using a masked domain I'd purchased years ago for client A/B testing. Subject: cached lies. Better grab it before Google does. I included the timestamp and a link to the original photo on her now deleted Instagram. The next day, a reporter from a financial publication requested a comment regarding an internal misconduct probe tied to promotional bias. Brand Summit declined. They always do. Then came the knock. On my door. Friday, 8:16 p.m. Man in a black coat, polite voice, clipboard. "Are you Mr. Klein?" I paused. "Yes, I'm with Crosswell Audit and Risk. We're conducting background interviews related to executive conflict disclosures at Brand Summit. You're not a required witness, but we'd appreciate voluntary input." I didn't invite him in. I took his card. "I'll think about it," I said. He nodded once and left. The next morning, Catherine posted a single sentence to her social feed. Just one. "Everything finds its way to light." No hashtags, no tags. Just that. At 10:34 that same morning, Sierra's profile disappeared from LinkedIn. Not updated. Gone. By noon, someone forwarded me the internal memo. Effective immediately, Sierra Dalton has resigned from her role as Director of Strategic Partnership. We thank her for her service and wish her well. No photo, no forward-looking optimism. No announcement from Richard. Then silence. 3 days, then 5, then 7. No press, no leadership change, no lawsuit. Yet. But every site that had once listed her as a featured young leader in brand ethics removed her name quietly. So did the marketing award nomination she was supposed to receive in March. On day 9, Richard returned to the office. No tie, no smile. He passed Alicia in the hallway without speaking. She told me he looked like someone had unplugged him from the wall. He didn't go into his office. He went into legal. That night, I opened a text-only document on Y desktop. Inside was the entire timeline. Every file, every message, each receipt. I named it /2/done/ I encrypted it, saved a backup to an isolated drive, and locked it away. Not for leverage, not anymore. Just to remember how precise damage can be when done quietly. I hadn't spoken to anyone in 10 days. Didn't need to. The story was telling itself. The first headline landed on a Thursday, middle of the morning, buried under market updates and IPO rumors. CEO of Brand Summit under review after whistleblower leak. Suggests financial and ethical misconduct. No names, but the subheading gave it away. Internal relationship with recently departed senior employee raises concerns over promotion, fund use, and transparency. That was the first cut. The next came 2 hours later. Catherine posted a statement to her verified foundation account. Her photo was grayscale, her tone surgical. I was not consulted about the use of my identity in a recent HR escalation. However, the evidence presented to me since has compelled action I should have taken long ago. My support for the leadership at Brand Summit has formally ended. She attached a PDF, 2 pages, signed, titled, Separation of financial support and ethical confidence. Within 30 minutes, 5 charity partners pulled out of the upcoming corporate summit. The 6th released a press statement. We do not associate with leadership under ethical investigation. At 1:03 p.m., Sierra went live on Instagram. No filters, no branding, just her, sitting in a hotel room. Plain white background. The caption read, "Some truths aren't easy, but silence is worse." She spoke for 4 minutes. I didn't watch it, but I read the transcript later. I entered a relationship that blurred professional boundaries. I allowed myself to be elevated by that proximity. I hurt people who deserved better. I don't ask for forgiveness. I just want it known that I'm no victim. I played my part. She never said his name. She didn't have to. By Friday, Richard released a statement of his own. Corporate email, 4 paragraphs, lawyered to death. While no policies were formally breached, I recognize how perception has impacted trust. I will be stepping away from day-to-day operations while the board concludes its review. No mention of resignation, no apology, just stepping away. I printed it, pinned it above my desk, wrote one line in pen underneath, still lying. Saturday, 8:22 a.m. A podcast dropped a special episode, title, The Broken Ladder, How Favoritism Kills Integrity. The host didn't name Brand Summit directly, but the guest, an anonymous source with direct knowledge, gave enough details that anyone watching knew. My favorite line came at minute 27. The culture was rot in a nice suit. People saw what they wanted and ignored what they didn't. I listened once, then deleted the episode. I already knew how it ended. Sierra deleted every account by Monday. Her name was removed from every conference speaker page she'd been booked for. One event posted a generic apology for vetting failures. Another replaced her panel with one titled, Rebuilding After Betrayal, Ethics in Action. I bookmarked that one. Didn't register. Just wanted to see who they invited instead. Richard didn't show up to the board meeting. He zoomed in, muted. He looked thinner, hair disheveled, voice cracked when he spoke. Board sources told Alicia he kept checking his phone, never looked into the camera. The chairman didn't thank him for his service. 2 directors submitted letters of concern that day. One was forwarded to shareholders. Catherine filed for divorce on Wednesday. It made the journal. Page 2. Sources indicate significant cause, including financial duplicity and breach of trust. The separation is expected to impact executive optics amid an ongoing ethics review. That was the phrase they used. Executive optics. Like it was a smear on glass. Not a 14-year marriage detonated in public. That night, I went for a walk. First one in weeks. No phone, no music. Just streets I hadn't noticed in years. I passed a bar I used to meet clients at. The window was cracked, dusty. The chalkboard outside said, "Closed for private event. Ask about our ethics cocktails." I didn't smile, but I almost did. When I got home, I had one message waiting. Not from anyone involved, not Catherine, not legal, not even Alicia. It was from someone I didn't recognize. A new intern, apparently. She didn't say where she got my contact. Just wrote, "Thank you. Some of us were watching." I archived it. Didn't respond. Then I turned off the lights and sat in the dark. No victory. No noise. Just the quiet that comes when you've already said everything that needed to be said, without ever opening your mouth. It's been 4 months. Brand Summit still exists. Different logo, new slogan, same rot, just painted over. They announced Richard's transition in Q2. He wasn't fired. He stepped down to focus on personal and philanthropic pursuits. A handshake goodbye. Stock options untouched. Board still calls him foundational. But his name doesn't appear in the press anymore, not even in the bylines. Sierra moved to Atlanta, started a boutique consulting firm. No website, just a LinkedIn bio that says, Brand Reinvention Expert. She hasn't posted since February, not even a birthday photo. I get Google alerts on her name. Nothing's hit in weeks. Catherine resurfaced last month, gave a keynote at a women's finance summit, wore all white. Her first line made the rounds online. Trust is expensive, but silence? That's priceless. They gave her a standing ovation. A week later, she launched a new foundation. Different name, different mission. No ties to Brand Summit, but one thing stood out on the website. A single line buried at the bottom of the donor page. In gratitude for those who build quietly and leave cleanly. No name, no link, just that. I bookmarked it. Never showed anyone. As for me, I'm nowhere near that world anymore. Moved out of the city, upstate, quiet place. No neighbors I know by name. Started freelancing, strategy work. No branding, no photo, no pitch deck. People find me when they need something fixed. I don't ask how they got my number, I just listen. Then I do what I do best. I keep a box in the closet. Inside it, one printed copy of the original severance agreement, the old company badge, the pen Sierra used to steal from my desk, and the envelope from Catherine, the real one, postmarked the day after her divorce went public. No letter inside, just a note. One word, written in black ink. Understood. I kept it, still sealed. Sometimes I walk into town and sit at the coffee shop across from a bank I never used. I order the same drink every time. Black, no sugar. Watch the people. Read the ticker across the cafe TV. Brand Summit stock climbs slowly, then dips, then climbs again. Stability. That's what the board said in their last shareholder letter. We've weathered the storm and emerged stronger. Maybe. But storms leave wreckage even after the sky clears, and some things don't wash away. I never told anyone it was me. Not Alicia, not Catherine, not the intern who thanked me. No leaks, no fingerprints, just silence, and the knowledge that I moved something permanent, without needing applause to prove it. Some nights I sit with the lights off and look through the window into the dark. The glass reflects me, older now, quieter, but still whole. I didn't win. I didn't need to. I just left differently than they expected. That's all for this story. I'll be back with another one. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. It motivates me to create more content like this.